So I came across an interesting article from Al Jazeera. I will put a link in the description below. Saudi Arabia has announced that they will sell and they will also enrich uranium. Um, and they actually also plan to sell enriched uranium from their own country. And so there's a lot of facets to this. There's a lot of things that are going on. You got to keep in mind, they announced this openly. Now, of course, they have uranium deposits. Uranium is deposited all over the world. It's concentrated in a few places more than others, I believe, in the United States, in Kazakhstan, and Australia, if my memory serves me correctly. But the fact that they would announce this, now Saudi Arabia obviously makes a lot of money from oil, and there is an oil shortage in the world because, oil is not coming out of Russia like it used to. And so oil prices on the worldwide market has gone up. So Saudi Arabia should be making a lot of money right now. But they're announcing that they're going to sell enriched uranium. And I would suspect that one of the motives here is that they want to demonstrate to Iran that they do have the ability to make nuclear weapons. There's a rumor that I've heard many years ago that Saudi Arabia had purchased a nuclear weapon from Pakistan. Obviously, I don't know. I'm not an intel person, and I'm sure that kind of information would be classified. But they want to send a message to the other countries that say, hey, we can produce nuclear weapons. We have the material to do so. Now, from the American standpoint, this might be a bit troublesome. You got to keep in mind that there is a Wahhabist element in Saudi Arabia. After all, this is where bin Laden and his Al-Qaeda gang originated, was from this country. And there are elements in Saudi Arabia that do support terrorism. By and large, the people in charge of Saudi Arabia present themselves as business people. But there are elements in Saudi Arabia that are radical and obviously should not have their hands on this type of material or the type of technology like the centrifuges that are needed to enrich it. So our intelligence agency, and I'm sure the Israeli Mossad and other intelligence agencies, are going to watch this very carefully. They're going to make sure that this type of material does not fall into the wrong hands. And but as far as placing any kind of sanction on Saudi Arabia, the United States, obviously, I've said this many times, should be worried about its own problems first. But again, the United States, needs to look at this very, very carefully. People in the intelligence communities need to take a very serious look at this. As far as what my opinion, if something should be done or not, I don't think anything should be done about this. I mean, they're not going to go to war with them, and I don't think we would place sanctions on them for this. I mean, we are technically allies with them because we are to keep the oil flowing out of Saudi Arabia to keep the whole world's economy going. So, I think we should develop a relationship with Saudi Arabia, at least for right now. And again, like I've said a few times in this video, we need to continue to monitor this type of activity, where these materials, who gets these materials. But it's interesting nonetheless. And I only hope that in the long term that this doesn't fall in the wrong hands. I mean, this doesn't go to a terrorist group or some other country, and I can name a few, that does not get nuclear weapons. So anyway, I'll post a link in the description below.